Hello, everyone. Thanks again for joining us on this episode. This episode features Anne Shoshana Deakter being interviewed by my associate, Michaela Newey. Anne is an author, professional speaker, and resilience warrior coach. They discuss this crazy world we live in and how to reinvent yourself and reset your life, something we've all felt like wanting to do at some point in our life. Some of us have even felt this more than once. So listen well and learn. And don't forget to listen to the end. After the interview, I'll answer a question from the audience. This time, I'll answer a question about reluctance to change.
Hi, Anne. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm absolutely fabulous this evening. Thank you very much.
This evening, it's this afternoon for me. Where are you calling?
Is it? Where are you?
I'm in Florida, and you are in?
I'm in Johannesburg in South Africa. So we're kind of like a bit of an international collective here. Isn't it life wonderful that you can do that kind of thing in this day and age?
I think it's becoming the way of the world, and it's a way that
so.
we have to become comfortable with.
Yes. So Anne, tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I am a resilience warrior coach. I am an author, and I am a professional speaker. And I have a mission and a passion and a calling to talk to people about making impact and income, leaving a legacy, doing what they love, because it is their birthright and destiny. And most people would love to walk into their calling, would love to live a life of passion and purpose. But we're so bogged down and clouded by materialism and competing stimuli and the things that we think we have to do, that most times we put our calling on the bottom of the pile, and that causes a lot of problems. Causes a lot of chaos, causes a lot of anxiety, and causes a lot of wasted and unproductive time.
I can go with that, but I really like your phrase there, resilience warrior. Tell me about that. Tell me about that particular phrasing. I absolutely love it. You know, sometimes people say to me, "Are you okay?" I go, "No, I'm Xena, warrior princess. Have no worries. I'm all good." So I love. Tell me about this phrase and why you decided to use it.
Well, you know, it's really funny. I've been looking at my life, like sitting here in Corona, you really go to a full stop. But there have been many times in my life that I've gone to a full stop, and I've had to reinvent myself and start over many times. And it started as early as when I was 8 years old. And my father, who had a dream to be a vet, his father said to him, either marry my mom or go to vet school, but I cannot condone both, or I cannot support both. So my father chose my mom, thank God, and here we are, right? I'm here. But what happened in the process is that calling, that intense passion and drive and dream to be a healer never left him. So when I was 2 years old, he bought his first horse and boarded it outside of the city of Montreal. When I was 3 years old, he bought his second horse and boarded it outside the city of Montreal. But then as the city grew, the farmer sold his land. And by the time I was 8 years old, my father said, "That's it, we're moving to a farm." So I have this vision in my head, this song in my head, picked up the city and we moved to Beverly, like the Beverly Hills Billy.
Yes, I know. So he did actually start to realize his dream of being a vet and looking after animals.
Look,
was he actually ever become a vet, or did he just try and satisfy?
He never became a vet, but his lesson taught me, his drive, his passion, his desire taught me so much, because what happened is he eventually passed away very young at 52, never realizing his dream. And
that's sad. That is sad. Yeah. And sometimes we kind of like half realize it, and we never quite get all the way there. Like we think, okay, I'm really going to make the sacrifice and I'm going to do this now. And then life kind of like happens and your dreams just kind of like fade away, not necessarily because you lose your passion, but just because life kind of like sticks its nose into your face, if that makes sense.
It makes sense, but the truth is that he always tried to reinvent or create a situation where he could live that dream. So what did he do?
Yeah.
So we lived on the farm for 8 years. Animals everywhere, horses
Fabulous.
everywhere. And he, though, however, continued to drive every day back and forth into the city and left us on the farm, right?
Uh-huh.
And then when I was 16, my mom said, Billy, this is not working. Your daughter has to go to college and I don't want her to go, into boarding, what have you. This is not the life we really wanted. We're moving back to the city. So we moved back to the city, and the crazy thing is how did he still stay connected to animals? He bought a pet store. I mean,
wow.
Really? He couldn't run away from that calling. And that's one of the things is when I go in and talk in corporate, when I just say, you can't run away from your calling. You can't. It comes back somehow and it bites you in the butt. So what then happened is, fast forward, is I moved down to Florida with a man that I met and married, had a child, and my father came to visit me. He was 52. Why? Because the pet store had gone bankrupt. And he wanted to reinvent himself again, start over at 52. Unfortunately, he dropped dead in my house. And that was, at that moment, I realized that the message was received loud and clear. You cannot run away from your calling. You can't. It follows you. So it would behoove me at that point in my life. I was about to get divorced with a 3-year-old, and I had a very successful design firm with my ex-husband. And in the divorce agreement, he got the business, I got the kid. I thought that was a very fair and equitable exchange. However, what was I going to do? How was I going to support us? So Here we go again. Reinvention and resilience. Reinvention and resilience. And, if you're lucky enough to have a role model, my father, my mother, incredible role models on that regard, but it just brings to mind a tool that I share in my speaking and my coaching, is that you must surround yourself with like-minded people who are on a quest to be the best that they can be. And they're there to support you when you're falling off the wagon, so to speak, when you're not. It's imperative. And especially now in Corona, and anytime there's adversity, right? I'm going to keep it simple and say that there are 2 paths. There's the path of walking the path of joy and hope and possibility and creation and reinvention, and everything will turn out good. We're just going through a spell right now, a patch. Or you can choose the path of oh my God, and victim, and roll up into a ball and just give up. And if you have those people in your life as a reality check to keep you in check, that when they see that you're falling, look, we're all human, right? When they see you're wavering, when they see that you need some support to remind you of what your purpose is and your vision and your calling is, then those people, their value is greater than gold. And it's interesting also, there's an expression that comes from from biblical sources that says, make yourself a friend and buy yourself a rabbi. Okay, instead of rabbi, a holy leader, a spiritual leader.
Okay, like a guide, like a spiritual guide.
Yeah. Why? For this very reason that we're talking about.
Yeah.
None of us could keep ourselves on the straight and narrow, keep our consciousness in a positive, creative, forward momentum without a community like that to support us. I call them your soul pod. These people kind of travel with you from lifetime to lifetime.
I like that. I like that expression. I have been in a very similar situation to you, where the man in my life left and the business left with him, and I had to also reinvent myself. And the people who supported me, I call my tribe.
Your tribe.
Yeah, my tribe. There are people in my tribe who were a surprise, who crawled out of the woodwork and suddenly became really supportive. And I had known these people, and I'd been kind of like casual friends with them, not deep friends, but suddenly a lot of people just appeared, and the support I got, and I call them my tribe. It's not family, it's something different. It's like, it takes a village to raise a child, kind of
Right.
kind of thing. And so yeah, I get that completely. And your tribe is very, very important.
It is imperative for you to thrive, to try on new ideas, new ways of doing things. They're your reality check. They're your feedback mechanism, your merciful, compassionate, critical cheerleaders.
Yes. And sometimes they give you tough love, and sometimes you got to hear that. Yeah.
Love is the best tool that there is.
Yeah.
I love it. I am so grateful when people come into my sphere and say, hey, can I share something with you? Can I give you some feedback? I love it. It's imperative. Otherwise, it's the ego that makes us think that we're perfect just the way we are. And that's totally counter to what life is all about. We're not here to be good. We're here to be better. That's coincidentally the name of my book. We're not here to be good. We're here to be better. We are here. We have a purpose. We have a mission. We have a calling. And if we're not going to do that, then we're going to run around like a rat on a wheel, constantly trying to fill the empty hole that is just, it's the voice of the soul. It's the voice deep within screaming for acknowledgement, to be free, to express itself, to express its destiny.
That's actually really beautiful. And you're right, it's ongoing. Okay? It's a quest. There's never, okay, I'm good enough now. Let me stop here. It's always got to be a little bit more. And it doesn't have to be giant things, does it? It can be just teeny tiny little steps forward. It doesn't have to be massive leaps. But to stop your life is a sad thing. It was awful. And to know what you want to do and to go forward with it, like your father, he went forward with it in a way that, that he could do. He couldn't do it the way he originally wanted to, but he found a way, and he continued to make that better, tiny step, but always moving towards the thing that he loved.
Right now in this full stop, I think it's imperative. Everybody is effective, and everybody is thinking about reinventing themselves and starting over in some way or fashion. But one of the things that stops most people is the utter fear and panic. Oh my God, what am I going to do next? They're clueless. So again, the fear can really bring you down. So worse than Corona. So
fear is crippling. Fear is just the most dreadful thing. And I've had it in several forms over the last couple of years for different reasons. And again, when this set in, and one of the things that I do in life is I'm a dog trainer. And I love dogs. I love working with people, and it's all face to face. So here in South Africa, we are on total lockdown. I mean, it's curfew. You can barely go to the shops. You have to have permits. You can't go near. It is just total lockdown. And I'm like, okay, there goes my complete livelihood. I can't do this anymore. Okay, I can't do that, but what can I do to try and get me through this, still keeping the thing that I love? And I have been working on things like little videos for YouTube for teaching people tricks that they can do with their dogs while they're bored in lockdown. And I have offered some online lessons, which is not always easy because a lot of it is nuance and feel, which you don't necessarily get over a computer line. Do you know what I mean? But
I've been doing Zoom seminars, and when I get on there, I just say to people, I say, listen, I said, I'm not used to this. I love to feed off the crowd. So
yes.
Give me a thumbs up, thumbs up, give me a thumbs down, talk to me. Wait, oh my God, it's like pulling teeth. It's so much harder. Takes so much more energy. But this is the whole thing. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about pivoting. So everybody in the business world is talking about pivoting. And in my mind, what I go to is I see myself as this chunky little 6-year-old in ballerina shoes, pivoting and falling on my butt, I have a very negative association with this word pivot, but thinking about how can we pivot right now. But it's not just now. It's I want to share the tools with people that we're pivoting every day of our life. Yes. And if we can do it through Corona, we can do it when the next plague comes. What's a plague? A plague.
Well, I was about to say that. I mean, this is going to end. It is awful. Pardon my language, crappy, but it is all over the world. But it will end. This is not the end of the universe. At some point, we will go back to a different kind of normality, not the normality that we had, but a new normality. And in that normality, we're going to have to find our ways to continue our quest and to move on.
And that's what I've been working on really hard, because there's always going to be a plague. Okay.
Yes.
Right now, the plague is Corona, but plague.
Yes.
Instead of replace the word adversity, replace the word challenge for Corona, for plague. We have many challenges that come up in our life, so much chaos and adversity. We have, God forbid, a divorce. We have disrespectful children. We have an influx of technology that is just rendering us like robots. We're losing our ability to communicate intimately with one another, where there's so many different forms of chaos. All the strategies that I'm teaching right now is that if we all learn these strategies, whether we're employees in business, whether we're business owners, whether we're moms, whether we're dads, no matter what we are, if we keep and know the reality that we have chaos, plagues in our life, when there is an overload of negative consciousness.
Yes. Right? Interesting. Yeah.
Cool. Overload of negative consciousness, the immediate result is chaos. So on a bigger humanity stage, we have so much immorality going on. We have so much disrespect going on. We have so much materialism going on. We have such a consciousness of I want what I want, and I want it now, and I don't care what I have to do in order to get what I want. I'll step on people, I'll hurt people. I don't care. I want what I want.
I think a lot of that may be to do with, and tell me what you think about this, is, we are now in the age of like WhatsApp and Snapchat, and it's wanting an instant answer. Everything must be instant. I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. And that could well be contributing to the way we're going in life, in the world.
Well, it's even worse than that, because when you want it now and you get it now without working for it, instant gratification doesn't build resilience muscles.
No, it doesn't. It makes you just want more of that instant, respond, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. And it just like feeds on itself and builds and builds and builds. It's just, I don't know how it ends. We'll see when all the millennials are 50 years old. We shall see then.
It's really, because I coach a lot of millennials. It's interesting. I don't know how that become like a little side hustle. I coach a lot of millennials before they get married. And one of the things we talk about is like, marriage is work. It's not, yes, I want it and I want it now. And what happens after the wedding? So what we talk a lot about are these same concepts of how to build these resilience muscles. What do you do when conflict and chaos arises in a relationship? It's the same muscles that you use when chaos and conflict and adversity arises in business, when it arises in friendships. It's the same muscle, but the thing that's universal is that you need to work and earn everything.
Because then it's meaningful.
That's part of finding your calling, is working for it.
Yeah, it is. I absolutely agree. And you know what? I am going to nip out and buy your book. Please tell me it's available electronically for Kindle.
It's on Amazon. You're so cute. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. It sounds like really awesome. And I had a quick skim of your website. And when I do these interviews, I don't like to read much about a person because I don't want any kind of preconceptions. I just want kind of like a vague idea of who they are, because I want them to tell the audience who you are. So I had a bit of a quick skim, and I love this little line of like, in a crazy world or something. Is that the byline? In a world gone mad?
Isn't that insane? Because when I wrote the book a year ago, and I said to my editor, and I want to put in there, in a world gone crazy. Isn't it crazy? I said, I don't know. It just seems that there are so many challenges out there. And I think we're all living in a reality where we're putting fires out. We're going from challenge to challenge to challenge to challenge, and we can't breathe. We don't know what we can't. It's like it's numbing us. It's anesthetizing us from living our calling. Because when you're so busy putting out a fire, how can you even have time, a second to self-reflect and think about the thing that is going to bring you the most joy and fulfillment? Again, when I saw my father drop dead at 52, he hadn't even scratched the surface of the thing that he was born onto this planet to do. So I don't want to see anybody feel that way. I don't want to see anybody have that experience. I've seen firsthand what it does. And it's totally demoralizing. It's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible feeling.
It is. I'm very sad to hear that your father just dropped dead. I mean, that's...
Yeah, and he had to do it in my house. Why?
Really? Was it just like on the spot?
Yeah.
Wow. Shoo. I mean, I unfortunately had to watch my father die over 10 weeks. So I don't know which is worse, really, like a sudden shock, or, it's like the slow knowing it's coming any day now. But I think, Anne, you can rest assured that he did indeed move towards his calling. He never stood still. He always was moving towards it. So I think you should take a little comfort in that. Maybe he didn't go all the way, but he certainly was constantly moving. And I think he died. Obviously, I don't know your father and I don't know your family, but to me, from what you're saying, it sounds like he died moving forward. And for me, that's so much better than dying standing still.
He definitely was in reinvention mode. And
Yes.
I admire people so much who, again, there's a biblical expression that says a wise person falls 7 times and picks themselves back up.
Yes.
Now, that's life. So when people say to me, oh, I don't want this, give me the pill, there's no magic pill.
And there's no white knights. No one is coming to save you. Your tribe will support you, but they can't make it miraculously better. You have to do it on your own. There are no white knights. There's advice, there's support, but ultimately there's you.
And think about it. The thing that I love is that when I talk to companies, when we talk about creating a corporate culture of people who picking themselves back up, they fall, they pick themselves back up, they fall, they pick themselves back up. I said, do you have any idea the far-reaching impact that has for your business when you create a corporate culture, a group of unified people in that consciousness of, okay, we make a mistake, we fall, we pick ourselves back up, we support each other in reinventing ourselves. That energy transfers into the product or service that is being offered.
Yes.
And that's what your customers are purchasing. They want to align themselves with that feeling because subconsciously, intuitively, they know that that's part of their worldly work.
Yeah.
But if they can't get it from within, then they're going to look from without to incorporate that into their life. So I always use this example when I try to express this thought, is that let's say you're going into a shoe store and you see 2 pairs of shoes pretty much identical coming from 2 separate vendors. You take a look at the shoes and what is going to be that deciding factor for which pair of shoes you're going to buy? It's going to be an energetic sense or a feel of,
These are my shoes.
These are my shoes because in them is the energy of resilience, the energy of my calling, whether it comes from the designer who it's their calling to bring beauty to the world or whatever it is. This is what your customer wants to align with. It's a very powerful statement. And it's a very powerful way to do business.
Where on the web are you? How can people get hold of you?
Thank you again, though, for having me, for allowing me to share my passion, for allowing me to share some wisdom to empower all during this challenging time. And
you're a delight. It's great.
I'm offering to all of your viewers, if they email me at good2better 2020. So it's the word good and the word the word better, and then 2020, the numbers, at gmail.com. I will gladly email them the first 3 chapters of my book.
That is very, very, very kind of you. Very nice thing to do. And your website and your Facebook page. Are you on any other platforms?
My the web site, the spelling of my name is a little challenging, AnneShoshanaDeakter.com, and also Anne Shoshana Deakter for Facebook and Instagram. So, but if you search under Good to Better, I'll come up. So
I'm sure you will. But Anne, it's been fabulous talking to you.
And for this week's question from the audience, why am I reluctant to change, even though I really want to? You know the saying, where there's a will, there's a way. It's very true for most circumstances in life. So we can agree that if there's something in your life that you've decided to change, but then you don't actually do it, you simply didn't want it enough. So why do you think you want to change? Because you do. But there are a few reasons you may not be putting it into action. First of all, you may be more afraid of the effort required than of the price you pay for not changing. You may be comfortable with your current discomfort, and any change to this would open you up to new discomforts, which again, would be new, unknown, scary. But usually, the reason is because of the following idea. There are two things which make us move. We are either going away from something or towards something. And both these forces are not equal. Our aversion to negatives is so much stronger than our attraction to positives. Let's put it towards finances and our bodies. Wanting to look good and have savings is the reason people sign up for the gym and create Excel sheets of their expenses on January 1st every year. But that's not a strong enough motivator, which is why within a few weeks they're back to their old habits. However, those same people will succeed if it's to avoid bankruptcy or disease. It's the same change that's required, but the negative motivator is much stronger than the positive motivator. Now that you know this, find ways to reframe your motivations so that instead of looking at the good you will get from changing your habits, just picture your negative future if you do not change these habits. And keep those images in front of you at all times. You'll see how you start making changes towards a better future for you. Thank you for listening to this interview with Anne. All of the links mentioned in the show are in the show notes. Remember to subscribe to the podcast on whichever platform you use to listen to podcasts. And if you haven't done so already, please leave us an honest review. Last but not least, go to our website and sign up for our newsletters, which come out twice a month, so you do not miss out on anything important.